Hello and welcome to the first episode of my vlog on art and the art world. My name is Sarah Goffstein and today I'm in Times Square in New York City, and you know what? It's not normally where I would go to see art. However, I'm about to show you the highlights of my very favorite art fair. It's actually an alternative art fair called the Spring Break Show. So let's go.
Taking the train down the Hudson River. I'm taking the train. I hope I get richer. Work every day, work every night. All I really wanna do is be in a fist fight with a robot. 'Cause I'm Almond, living in New York City. 'Cause I'm Almond, and I'm living in New York City. Perhaps in Manhattan.
So, since this is intended for a broader audience of people who are curious about contemporary art, I'm going to give you a little bit of context about what we're about to see together. So the theme for this year's Spring Break Show is When Strangers Come to Town. Here's a partial paraphrase from the curatorial essay. Tolstoy is probably falsely attributed with coining the adage, "All great literature is one of two stories. A hero goes on a journey or a stranger comes to town. Who and what is this stranger?" To some, their travel into the unknown is an act of heroism. To others, it's colonialism, contamination, or infiltration. This is all taking place at the same time as the Armory Show, which is one of the most important art fairs in the world. And while the Armory Show had similar beginnings as an alternative venue for showing experimental contemporary art in an affordable manner, galleries are now spending 5 figures for a booth and have a lot invested in selling work. At the Spring Break Art Show, by contrast, the fact that curators don't even have to pay for their spaces, besides for a small percentage of sales, allows them to really open up the possibilities of what they can do when they highlight the work of emerging and mid-career artists. Unlike most art fairs, the Spring Break Show is not really a massive commercial undertaking. In fact, it's really an experimental and sometimes a visionary hotbed for curators and artists to show work that, might not have any commercial appeal at all.
Would you like a cat passport? It is a stateless passport.
So next we're going to hear from Fernando Orellana as he tells us about how this piece evolved.
I ran into the protests for the immigration ban, 50,000 people protesting. And I actually have never been part of a protest. And one of the reasons is I'm very aware of not, I guess, being part of a movement like that because I'm not from the country. Well, it gave me 2 thoughts. One, I could automate the motion of a picket sign because I'm a roboticist, so we tend to think like that. And then the second thing was, how many illegal immigrants and DACA immigrants are afraid to actually voice their opinion because they're concerned that they might be flagged? It's been happening with immigrants forever.
Next, we're going to hear a charismatic artist named Joaquim Trujillo tell us about a project he did with a transgender community in Mexico. In this case, he was the stranger.
This is they call mushis, and they're from Juchitlan, Mexico. But basically, some families, they feel like they're blessed when their kid has gay tendencies because they believe that he has or she has 2 souls. So they're in charge of a lot of the arts in the community. This guy is he now is a lawyer in San Francisco, and we were asking to have their picture taken, and a lot of them were saying "Oh no, thank you. Oh no, thank you." So I went back to the hotel, got dressed up, and then I will ask each girl to dance. And after they did a dance with me, then "Oh, let me take your picture." So that's how the whole shoot went on this wall for 3-4 hours.
Okay, so here's one of the spaces that I wanted to revisit because I found the imagery haunting, and I was especially intrigued by one of the pieces that we're about to look at of one woman mopping the floor with the body of another.
So this is Kawita Vatanayankar's work. She's Thai Australian. Her work is about basically coming from Australia, being growing up, having all these white goods and convenience when it comes to women's work, and then going over to Thailand and experiencing the fact that she didn't have the same skill set as a lot of her contemporary Thai friends, female friends in particular. As a Thai woman, she's expected to go back after living in the Western world in Australia, going back and having to perform all these arduous, laborious tasks such as cleaning the floor, such as washing things by hand.
And then there are some exhibitors in the Spring Break show that are really interested in showcasing innovative technology in order to give viewers an interactive and transportive experience. Next, we're going to hear Martha Skoo speak about a collaborative sculpture she did with Louise Fu.
Okay, this piece is called Duet, and in this side I'm singing in a scale, and on the other side my collaborator is singing a scale, and all these notes are us singing, and these ones in between are effects. So you can play our notes and you can then affect them.
So whenever one ventures to a big art fair like this, there's always the hope that effort will be rewarded by discovering an artist that you might not have seen otherwise. I've shown you a few pieces like this, and I keep thinking about this video by Sarah Hill called The Yellow Wallpaper. Sarah Hill has taken one of the most imaginative Victorian feminist stories and has recreated it in a way that I think is surprising and edgy.
So Sarah Hill's video, The Yellow Wallpaper, is part of the exhibit Horrorscapes, which is about finding beauty in terror. Sarah's video references a short story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman and also the Hitchcock Blonde.
Thank you so much for joining me for our maiden voyage of the art vlog. I don't know if you realize this, but this was my first time producing anything of this kind. I did it solo, and there was a steep learning curve. I learned Final Cut Pro, I learned to use all sorts of new equipment, and I learned a lot about filming video and speaking in front of a camera. If you would like to see more episodes like this, it's really important that you click on either like or subscribe. They're both down below, and that will help give me a sense of who's interested, and it helps with the metrics as well. And like any new endeavor, there are two things that a new endeavor needs, and one is feedback and the other is financial support. So in terms of feedback, I'm trying to figure out what my audience will be interested in. I'm envisioning this as a vlog that kind of takes you on a tour through various places in the art world, and it's meant for a broader audience in addition to an art audience. So please let me know what you would be interested in seeing, and if you have any feedback about what you would enjoy or what I can do to enhance your experience. And lastly, if you want to contribute to the success of this blog, there is a Patreon link down below. And there's also a link to my mailing list so that we can keep in touch. And if you want to know about when the next episode is coming out, well, I can send you an email. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.